And welcome in, everybody. I appreciate you guys being here. Again, please hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I am back for my first game back after a game since Michigan, because I was not here for the UTSA game. And Texas puts a whooping on on Louisiana Monroe. The current score right now, obviously going to live a little bit early here, 51-3. Texas has the ball right now with Trey Owens in the game. I decided once Trey Owens went in the game, this game was officially over to me. When you're putting in what is your third string quarterback, the game is over and it's not even close. Obviously, Texas going to win this one probably 51-3, maybe 51-10. My prediction was 56-10 coming into this game. So Texas does me good here, does me a solid, and they cover, guys. If this holds up, they will have covered for every game this year. So Texas overall really good. And I think, honestly, the best case scenario happened for Texas and Texas fans tonight, guys. Texas won this game. Arch Manning looked good, but not great. So you're not going to get a lot of storylines about him starting anymore, which anyone that was arguing that was wrong in the first place. Quinn Ewers is the starter of this football team. He should be the starter of this football team going forward. As Steve Sarkisian said in the Monday morning press conference, he basically said, Quinn's going to play a lot of football for us. Quinn's going to be in the Heisman ceremony. We have a lot of big games coming up, and this team's going to compete for a national championship with Quinn Ewers as the starting quarterback. And you saw why people are so high on Arch tonight, but you also, I think, saw why Arch is not the starter currently. Arch is tremendously talented. I think Arch Manning is more talented than Quinn Ewers. I have said that on this show. I've said that throughout the offseason as well. But there are things Arch Manning needs to improve on. And by the way, he is ahead of year 2 Quinn Ewers. If you take Quinn Ewers year 2 and Arch Manning year 2, I think Arch Manning is ahead of Quinn Ewers. But I don't think he's where Quinn Ewers year 3 is. And we saw that tonight. Pocket awareness. You see this multiple times. You saw it in the UTSA game. A guy comes off I believe, a cornerback blitz or a nickel blitz and basically gets to Arch Manning, hits him as he released the ball, and he dirts one. Tonight, you saw multiple times where the pressure gets there and he doesn't see it for whatever reason. One of them caused an interception early in the game on the first drive. And then he threw another interception where he still needs to get better at not layering throws, because that wasn't a layering of a throw, but he needs to take off the gas off his throws a little bit at sometimes. Sometimes he just rockets in there, and you saw that with Jaden Blue. If he just tossed in there a little bit more softly, Jaden Blue comes down with that catch instead of it going off his fingertips and it being intercepted. But overall, I mean, it was a pretty good game for Arch Manning. So he exited early in the fourth quarter, 15 of 29, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I will say this, the guy is not afraid of throwing the deep ball. You saw that consistently tonight with this offense. He was executing the deep ball pretty well. There were a couple overthrows. There was that one where he threw into triple coverage into Ryan Wingo, where honestly it wasn't even that bad of a throw. It was either going to be him or the front defender catching it. It was a little bit underthrown, and it hit the underneath defender in the helmet. But overall, not a terrible throw for throwing into triple coverage. Now, the decision-making could have been better on that throw. And that's the second thing, guys. You see that. You see Arch Manning decision-making isn't as quality as Quinn's is. And that makes sense. Again, guys, this is his, first start, only third, fourth game he's ever played in. You're not going to see that. That comes with timing and reps. Honestly, after watching Mississippi State play today, which they're god-awful and they just lost Blake Shapen for a very long time. I actually think they said he's out for the year. I think, and watching Oklahoma, what's happening with them, it wouldn't be the worst thing to get Arch Manning more reps versus Mississippi State. If Quinn can go and Quinn wants to go, like, hey, put me out there, and he's pressuring the coaching staff, then fine, put him out there. But if I'm the coaching staff, I'm approaching Quinn and saying, are you 100%? If you're not 100%, I don't care if you're 99%, let's play Arch, because he needs the reps. It will benefit the team in the long run and the short, because if Quinn gets hurt again, that will help us this year as well, but it will also help next year. And guys, Mississippi State is god-awful. I watched them today. I picked them to beat Florida because I thought Florida had quit. I think Florida's quit. I just think Mississippi State's that damn bad. They beat them by multiple scores. I knew the game was going to be high scoring, and I got that part right. Check us out on the SEC show, which you just launched. I'm on there as well. But overall, just they're abysmal, guys. They're really, really bad. And I knew that coming into the season. I think I only had them winning 2 or 3 games, and they may not even win that many. So Texas will definitely take care of business versus Mississippi State next week. And I think it'd be smart for Texas to put Arch Manning back in. Again, he needs to work on pocket presence and also where he goes and delivers the football. Those are the 2 big keys to me. He checks everything else. He's mobile. He's got a big arm. He can escape under duress when he does see it. That's his issue, seeing it. And then, I mean, he delivers a pretty accurate football when it's on time. So it's really pocket awareness and then delivering it to the right person. If he does that, guys, the sky's the limit for this guy. Like I said, I think just pure talent-wise, pure raw skill, he is better than Quinn Ewers. But to win a national championship, and that is the goal for this Texas team, Quinn Ewers has to be the starting quarterback. He has to be healthy, and that's why I think that's another reason I think you should go with Arch Manning next week versus Mississippi State, especially at home. If this was on the road, I could kind of see push Quinn a little bit. This is at home versus the worst team in the SEC. I think that was pretty well established today. The Mississippi State is by far the worst team in the SEC. Vanderbilt took Mississippi or Mizzou right down to the wire today. So, in my opinion, Arch Manning should be the quarterback for the next week. Not going forward. I'm not saying you should start the season going forward, but I'm saying for next week versus Mississippi State only. Now, let's get into a very, very big positive here. Jaden Blue comes back from injury, sitting out the UTSA game, and he goes for 4 touchdowns. He has 3 touchdowns on the ground. He had 120 yards tonight on 25 carries. He looked pretty good. I will say this. I don't know if it's because he's getting more carries this year or because he's put on more weight, but he doesn't have the same acceleration as he used to. He used to accelerate through holes a lot quicker to me, guys, and he just doesn't look as fast hitting the hole. The top end speed is, I still think it's there, but it's hard to tell, guys. Our longest run on the year, this was crazy. They said it during the broadcast, is 23 yards. So it's hard to tell if he in the open field is still that guy because he really hasn't gotten the opportunity. But I think he's lost acceleration. I think he's put on too much weight. I think it'd be smart for him because I do think he's done at Texas after this year, no matter what, because he'll probably be a 3rd or 4th round pick. I think he should lose weight. I think he should probably lose another 5 to 10 pounds, go back to what his playing weight was last year, which was, I believe, was 195. He weighs about 205, 210 now. And I think it would help him out. We did miss him on what would have been a wheel route touchdown. Arch Manning did. He missed him barely. There was another one in there too where he could have caught it where Arch Manning rocketed it in, but it should have been a little bit softer in my opinion. But overall, really solid game. I think this game for Steve Sarkisian, honestly, was to get Arch Manning's confidence up, and that's why I think you saw so many shots for Arch Manning, and to get Jaden Blue's confidence up. Because let's be honest here, Jaden Blue was off to a very, very rocky start to this season. He wasn't great. He was really good tonight, and that's really good for Texas moving forward. And overall, I think he was the best running back tonight. I think going forward, he'll get the majority of the carries. I mean, I'm not discovering gold here. I think everyone realizes that. But Jarrett Gibson, up until this point, was probably our best running back. I think Jaden Blue, and I still thought Jaden Blue, but most of the fans thought Jarrett Gibson deserved more carries and he was our better running back. I like Jarrett Gibson. I said Jarrett Gibson is our number 2, and I think he is our number 2. I think that became pretty clear tonight as well with Trey Wisner out. So you're going to see him get the majority of second team carries, I think, from here on out, as he should. I think he's just a better overall running back. I like Trey Wisner, but Jarrett Gibson is the future here. And then Jaden Blue will get the majority. I would like to see more wide receiver screens to him. We really didn't see that much tonight. Again, it's ULM Monroe, so it's going to be hard to tell if that's going to be more a big portion of the game plan going forward, but we'll have to see. But overall, a really good game by Jaden Blue, 4 touchdowns. First time since Bijan Robinson that a Texas running back has had 4 touchdowns, so it's been a couple years. He had a really good game tonight, guys, and it was fun to watch him play and finally get the majority of the carries and actually do well with the majority of the carries. Like I said, he had been struggling up until this point, but it was really good to see him get back on track tonight. On the other players on the offensive side of the ball, guys, Ryan Wingo. Ryan Wingo caught a couple touchdowns tonight. 2 receptions, 42 yards. No, he had 1 touchdown. So overall, a really, really solid game for Ryan Wingo. There was also the one where he got a pass interference on an underthrown ball from Arch Manning. you see that connection between Ryan Wingo and Arch Manning, and that's very exciting for Texas fans moving forward because that's going to be your number one to number one connection next year. Your number one quarterback with your number one wide receiver. You see them with the connection bonding because I don't know if it's planned or not, but he's the number one wide receiver on the second team, and obviously Arch Manning being the backup. It might be planned because I think Ryan Wingo, honestly, is our second best wide receiver right now. I think it's probably Bond and then Wingo and then Golden. At the beginning of the season, I thought it was going to be Bond, Golden, and then Wingo and Bolden. I think Bolden's clearly our fourth or fifth guy. You can debate them between Jonte Cook, DeAndre Moore as well. DeAndre Moore also did go out with an injury, so that's going to be interesting. Again, guys, next week's basically another scrimmage. I think Texas is going to be favored by 24 plus points versus Mississippi State. So if DeAndre Moore is like anything worse than 90%, just sit him out next week. We do not need him. We should win that game like 40-10, honestly. But overall, really good for the offense. I was very impressed overall. We ended the game right now. There's a minute 21 left. We have 479 total yards. Louisiana Monroe only has 111, and they did bench General Booty. I can't believe that's someone's name, but they did bench him. They only had 52 passing yards, and they had 59 rushing yards. I will say, they had a little bit more rushing yards in the first half than I would have liked. I think they had 45 rushing yards in the first half. 56 rushing yards in the first half. So they only had 3 rushing yards in the second half. So we need to do better with that. We do. That is still something that is a question mark to me. It's going to be interesting going forward if there's a team that's just consistent and adamant that they run the football, that they might be able to do that versus Texas. If Oklahoma were to come out like we saw tonight, or come out later in the second half like we saw versus Tennessee with Michael Hawkins and he's running around, that'll be interesting because I do think he's going to be the starter going forward. I think it was a really bad choice for Oklahoma to skip over Dylan Gabriel. You guys know I'm not a big Dylan Gabriel fan, but he's definitely better than Jackson Arnold. And Michael Hawkins could give Texas some trouble because, let's be honest, we've had issue with running quarterbacks in the past, and we've had some issues with running. I'm not going to say it's a big issue, but is the biggest issue I see on this team, which is still a small issue compared to most other teams in the country, but still our biggest issue. We're still good versus the pass, and I'm not surprised by that. We've gotten so much more athletic on the defensive side of the ball, and that shows, but still, I want to see the run defense step up a little bit going forward. But overall, I'm nitpicking, guys. This is a very dominant effort for the Texas Longhorns. 25 first downs to 8 first downs for Louisiana Monroe. Penalties-wise, we had 9, so that's something to clean up. And then the two turnovers by Arch. But again, those are things that will slow down with playing time, and those will probably stop with Arch. But overall, pretty damn good for Texas. They're going to win this one 51-3 with 31 seconds in the fourth quarter. That will be your final there in Austin, 51-3 for the Texas Longhorns. So what's coming up for Texas? Here, again, I have a show, 7 p.m. Eastern time, breaking down last week's game and talking about the next week's game, which will be Mississippi State. And that is what's up for Texas next. We play our first SEC opponent, Mississippi State. It's a very bad SEC opponent. It's probably the worst SEC team. So we'll get into them. We'll also talk recruiting updates and what's down the pipeline for that and possible flips. So again, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys being here. Texas wins this one 51-3. Again, guys, if you don't want to look at my face, which is fine, I completely understand. We are on your favorite audio platform, Apple, Spotify. You'll find it out there, Amazon. Please go check that out. Also, speaking of Amazon, we all use it. Go in the link, support Mark, put a little bit of change in his pocket. Go down, hit that Amazon link, subscribe to it. Or not, subscribe to the channel, but go to the Amazon link, use it. It will save you. It won't save you money, but it will put a little bit in Mark's pocket. That's all. It doesn't change your buying experience. Nothing changes. All it does is put a little bit of change in Mark's pocket. So I really appreciate you guys for doing that. And then Mark also has a fantastic football call-in show. If you make it, if you call in, he will answer Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. He also has one Sunday morning to kick off the NFL morning. So please go over there, like and subscribe at the Voice of College Football as well. Again, Texas wins this one 51-3 versus Louisiana Monroe. I'm your host, Matthew Miller. I really appreciate you guys being here. Again, please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe button. Overall, fantastic effort for Texas. tonight proved that we are obviously taking care of business like we should be, but also that Quinn Ewers has to be the starter to win the national championship. And Arch Manning got reps. So we got two things off the book. We don't have to hear the nonsense of, oh, Arch Manning's going to start. Arch Manning's going to start. He got good quality reps. He played decent. And then also it showed that Quinn Ewers needs to be the starter for us to win the national championship. So overall, I think it came up all Texas, honestly, tonight. And in my opinion, Arch should probably be the starter for the Mississippi State game just to get him some more reps because we're going to win that game no matter who plays quarterback. If I played quarterback, we'd win that game. They're not. Mississippi State is abysmal, guys. They're really, really bad. And again, go over to the SEC channel because me and my boy Tyler will be talking about the previous games of this week and also going into next week and our main takeaway. So please go over there and subscribe at the SEC channel as well. I really appreciate you guys being here. It's always fun talking to you guys, breaking down this game. And I will say this too. On defense, I got to give a shout out. Leona Lafau at linebacker and Anthony Hill at linebacker. I think this might have been Anthony Hill's overall best game. He was in the right position at most times. He almost had a pick six for a touchdown. He had a sack as well. He was phenomenal tonight. Leona Lafau, I think, is up next. He was very good. He got the sack in the end zone for that safety. Texas wins this one 51-3. They cover, guys, the fourth straight cover of the season for the Texas Longhorns. So that's always awesome. We're beating Vegas at their own game here. So again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for being here. I'm trying to grow this brand, guys. Please help me out. Please help me out. 7 p.m. Eastern time. I am live Mondays. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Hook 'em.